Automotive. I fix everything.
Today's project is a 1986 Pontiac Fiero. When you turn the key, it'll turn over, but it won't fire. Let's see if we can figure out what's wrong with it and how we can fix it. The first thing I'd like to check is to see if it's getting any spark. My favorite method is to unhook the coil wire from the distributor cap and plug in a spark plug. If you have one laying around, it makes it easy. If not, remove one from the easiest cylinder and rest it against the engine ground. It's best if you have an assistant turn the key and you inspect for spark. Otherwise, have someone hold a camera, a phone, and watch the spark plug. I had no spark, and the ignition module is under the distributor cap. This fires the coil, so this is where I'm going to start my investigation. I loosened the two screws in the distributor cap but left all the wires connected. As I lifted the distributor cap, I noticed the rotor pin was burned. I also noticed the pickup coil pole piece was severely rusted. This could also play a role in the faulty ignition. I tried to remove the rotor, but the rust had seized it in place, and it was going to take some special effort to get it off. In the meantime, I turned my attention to the ignition module and removing the electrical connectors. Gently lift the tab of the electrical connector with one hand and pull on the connector with the other, and then wiggle it free. There is a third electrical connector underneath the pickup coil. I find it's easier if you remove the two mounting screws and lift the module to allow easier access to the rear plug. The two metal grommets for the mounting screws and the two blade pins on the rear of the module are corroded. This module is about $50. Before I replace it, I'm going to clean the terminals and the grommets and see if it will fire. I'm going to use a claw hammer as an improvised puller for the ignition rotor. I'm disconnecting the electrical connectors from the ignition coil so I can remove it and clean any corrosion between the mounting bracket and the engine ground. I'm using a bench grinder with a wire wheel, but a wire brush or even a drill mounted wire brush works just as well. I'm cleaning the metal mounting hole grommets to ensure a proper ground and the blade pins to ensure proper connection to the pickup coil. Be sure to also clean the heat shield and the engine mounting bracket to ensure a good ground. I'm cleaning the rotor pin to ensure a proper ignition signal to the spark plugs. I noticed a rodent had dinner on this rubber fitting, so I'm replacing this vacuum elbow. To clean the heavily rusted pole piece and the distributor cap, I am using a Dremel tool with a stainless steel wire brush. A Dremel tool and a wire wheel can clean the corrosion from the inside of a distributor cap and save the time and money of replacing it. This can allow a cap and rotor to last 10 years or more. With everything cleaned, it's time to reassemble the ignition system. First, plug the pickup coil into the ignition module and then install the mounting hardware. Next, plug in the two cannon plugs to the ignition module. Here I'm installing the bright, shiny heat shield before I install the ignition coil. There's a mated set of plugs that must be installed one before the other or mated together and installed as a pair. With the coil installed, it's time to install the rotor and the distributor cap. Carefully install the distributor cap into the seat on the ignition module and then install and tighten the screws. Don't forget to reinstall the coil wire. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something along the way, please like and share. Subscribers are always welcome, and thank you for watching.